It was a shocking and unexpected move on the part of the new leadership of the Indiana Fever to part ways with their rising star, Caitlin Clark, which earned them a lot of media attention. Clark's departure has left fans incensed and analysts bewildered. Clark is widely recognized as one of the most influential players in the WNBA. Quite a few people believed that she was the way forward for the franchise, a player who had the potential to completely transform the team's record. This choice seems like a significant step backwards, especially considering that the Fever has finally begun to gain some momentum in the league. Both on and off the court, Clark's influence was indisputable and cannot be denied. Not only was she a player for the Fever, but she was also the face of a new generation representing the team. As a result, fans are left wondering what Amber Cox, the new boss of the Fever, was thinking when she made this decision. What kind of an impact will this have on the performance of the team? And what exactly does it say about their future? Caitlin Clark was simply a phenomenon in every sense of the word. The Indiana Fever were immediately able to benefit from her unparalleled level of excitement and potential after she was selected as the first overall pick in the draft. The team was filled with optimism for the future as a result of her presence, and her brilliant performances on the court were garnering a lot of attention. A large number of people were eagerly tuning in to watch her perform, and she was rapidly becoming a favorite among audiences. Amber Cox, on the other hand, had different ideas. Since her decision to part ways with Clark has left many people wondering about the future of the Fever and the path they will take now that their most promising player is no longer a part of the roster, many people are wondering what the future holds for the Fever. There were many reasons why fans flocked to watch Indiana Fever games, and one of those reasons was Clark's distinctive playing style. Because of her impressive shooting range, keen court vision, and fierce competitive spirit, she quickly became one of the most formidable players in the region. Not only did she have the ability to score from a distance, but she also had the ability to set up her teammates, therefore creating opportunities where there did not appear to be any. She was a source of inspiration for those around her and a motivator for her team to improve. Because of her inherent leadership abilities and her ability to adapt to different situations, many people believed that Clark was the franchise's future. As a result of her dismissal, the future of the Fever is currently uncertain. A further factor that contributes to the perplexity of this decision is the fact that it appeared as though the Fever had found their foundational player. The team had started to generate buzz that had not been seen in years, and Clark was the one in charge of it. The franchise had been revitalized simply by her presence, both in terms of the support it received from fans and the number of tickets it sold. On the other hand, it appears that Cox has a different vision for the team, one that does not include Caitlin Clark anymore. It's easy to understand why fans are so angry. On social media, there was an explosion of angry comments from fans of Fever, demanding answers from the front office. As a result of watching a team that had once shown promise fail to deliver, many people feel as though they have been betrayed. In addition to her scoring prowess, Clark was a model of leadership off the court. Her leadership was not limited to her scoring abilities. She took the younger players under her wing and guided them both on and off the court, embracing her role as a team leader and taking full advantage of the opportunities it presented her. Every action she took was a clear demonstration of her enthusiasm for the game, and her work ethic served as a model for the rest of the team. The Fever had the potential to become a winning team if they had the right players and mentality, and she was the embodiment of that potential for many. In light of her absence, there are now more questions than answers regarding the future of the Fever being discussed. There are significant repercussions that will result from Amber Cox's decision to release Caitlin Clark. She is not only responsible for alienating the Fever fan base, but she has also put a significant amount of pressure on the remaining roster members to perform well despite the absence of their prominent player. Despite the fact that Cox has previous experience in leadership roles, this move has the potential to define her legacy with the team in a manner that is not favorable. It is one thing to take risks, but it is an entirely different thing to disrupt the entire dynamic of the team by severing lines of communication with a player who had done so much for the franchise in such a short period of time. Cox will now be responsible for dealing with the consequences of this decision, which will not be an easy task. Players like Caitlin Clark have been instrumental in the Women's National Basketball Association's WNBA efforts to expand its audience, which has been a goal of the league as a whole. The Fever have not only harmed their chances of improving, but they have also dealt a blow to the league's efforts to build a stronger fan base. This is because the Fever have released Clark. The impact that Clark had on the number of people who purchased tickets, watched the show, and sponsored it was enormous. It is not clear whether the decision made by Cox is part of a larger strategy or whether it is simply a move that lacks long-term perspective. However, regardless of the circumstances, the damage has been done.
The WNBA has 18 games this season where they've had more than 1 million viewers average, and 16 of those 18 have featured Caitlin Clark. So you cannot deny the connectivity of Caitlin Clark playing basketball and people wanting to watch.
Beyond her performance on the court, Caitlin Clark had a significant impact on the Fever in many other ways as well. She broke viewership records, brought new energy to the Women's National Basketball Association, and attracted thousands of fans to games. It seems as though the firing of her is a significant setback not only for the team, but also for the league as a whole. It is difficult to conceive of how the Fever will be able to replace the value that she brought to the program, both as a player and as a public figure, as they attempt to rebuild without her. Many fans of the Women's National Basketball Association are left wondering why the Fever would release a player who had contributed more to the league in her first year of playing than the majority of players do in their entire careers. The WNBA is in a difficult position as the fallout from Clark's departure continues to have an impact on the league. In an effort to broaden its appeal, the league had made significant investments in marketing players like Clark, and the termination of her could result in significant setbacks. The leadership of the WNBA must now figure out how to move forward without one of their most prominent stars. And for many fans, the league is giving up its most valuable asset. The departure of Clark brings to light a significant problem that exists within the WNBA, which is the difficulty of retaining star talent and maintaining fan engagement. In the absence of players such as Clark, it becomes more difficult to maintain the momentum that the league has built up over the past few years. Fans of the Indiana Fever are not only angry, but also genuinely perplexed by the decision that was made regarding Caitlin Clark's dismissal from the team. The outrage surrounding this decision continues to grow. How was it possible for Amber Cox, the new manager of the Fever, to make such a monumental error by letting go of the most promising young player in the league? In light of the fact that Clark had brought about record-breaking ticket sales, revitalized the franchise, and sparked a wave of fan engagement, her dismissal is even more perplexing. As far as the Fever are concerned, this move has the potential to be one of the most contentious decisions in the history of the WNBA. In addition to being a player, Caitlin Clark was a symbol of hope for the Fever and the WNBA as a whole. Because of the excitement that she generated, stadiums were not only filled, but the league was also brought back into the conversation about mainstream sports. The fact that she is no longer with us feels like a significant setback, one that may have long-term repercussions not only for the Fever, but also for the overall development and future of the league. It is possible that Amber Cox did not fully comprehend the fact that Caitlin Clark is not merely a franchise player. Rather, she is a talent that spans multiple generations. This is the kind of player around whom you would construct an entire team and marketing strategy. It is not often that players like Clark appear on the scene, but when they do, they have the ability to completely alter the course of a team's or even a league's trajectory. This is something that fans of the WNBA are aware of, which is why they are so outraged by the decision to release her. As a result of the Fever's decision to part ways with the one player who had the potential to take them to new heights, many people have the impression that the team is trading away their future. As a result of Cox's decision to fire Clark, the momentum that had been emerging in relation to the Fever has been effectively destroyed. The goal was not simply to determine who won and who lost. Rather, it was to establish a culture that fostered excitement, community, and engagement. However, now that Clark has left the team, It is not clear how the Fever intend to recover from such a significant setback, and fans are questioning whether the leadership of the franchise has what it takes to steer the team in the right direction heading forward. The future of the Fever appears to be bleak without Caitlin Clark, and many people are curious about how the franchise will deal with the inevitable fallout that they will experience. Clark's talents are sure to be pursued by other teams, and those teams will make offers to secure them. However, the Fever are left to rebuild without their star player. As a result, fans are now forced to confront the prospect of a future in which the team they adore has just lost its most valuable asset. The front office of Fever has been inundated with requests for explanations on social media, and it is abundantly clear that the damage done to the fan base is substantial. What is even more aggravating for fans is the fact that Caitlin Clark had enthusiastically embraced her role with the Indiana Fever. She was not merely a replacement player who was looking to advance her career and move on. Rather, she appeared to be dedicated to contributing to the success of the team. Many people have the impression that this decision constitutes a breach of trust and a break with Clark's commitment to the franchise. It is possible that Amber Cox and the leadership of the Indiana Fever are already feeling the heat as a result of the growing backlash from fans. In the event that the franchise does not recover quickly from this public relations disaster, there are even those who are speculating that this decision might result in changes within the front office. The abrupt termination of Caitlin Clark has caused shockwaves to spread throughout the league. The leadership of the WNBA may need to take action in order to address the concerns of fans and sponsors who were counting on Clark's continued success with the Fever. The departure of Caitlin Clark is destructive to the WNBA as a whole. In recent years, the league has been steadily expanding its audience, and players such as Clark have been a significant contributor to this expansion. The WNBA struggles to maintain its upward trajectory now that one of the league's most prominent stars is sidelined. This circumstance is a prime example, in the eyes of many, of how the WNBA needs to protect and cultivate its top talent in order to guarantee that players like Clark have long-term careers within the league. In the end, the decision that the Indiana Fever made to fire Caitlin Clark is one that will be debated for many years to come. The loss of a talented player is not the only thing that this signifies. It is also a missed opportunity to build a legacy around someone who had the potential to take the franchise to new heights. The future of the WNBA will be shaped by decisions such as this one, and it is abundantly clear that fans will not forget what took place here. Fans have expressed widespread outrage, disbelief, and a profound sense of disappointment in response to the firing of Caitlin Clark. Even though the Fever are currently in the process of picking up the pieces, it is highly likely that Caitlin Clark will continue to shine as one of the most prominent stars in the WNBA. When it comes to the Fever, however, the repercussions of this decision will be significant, and it will be a considerable amount of time before they are able to win back the confidence and support of their fan base. What are your thoughts on this situation? Let me know down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.